What about giving us some tips? 3 tips on getting good with women.
Oh, I can do this all day.
Well, then I flew out here. I've got all day.
Right, easy. 1, there are no tips. If women don't like you, it's your fault and they don't like you. I am sick of dating coaches trying to give tips to get women. Oh, well, if you make this kind of joke, or if you first insult her subtly and then say something, it increases her ego level of, no. I don't try to get women, and that's the only tip I can give you, but here are the tips. 1, work super hard every day. 2, train super hard every day and be in shape. 3, make sure your hair looks all right, your beard looks okay, don't walk around looking scruffy. Take showers, basic stuff. Live in a nice house, have a fun lifestyle. All the tenets of hard work. It's funny, actually, the way that God works and the way the universe works. All the tenets of hard work that I preach that makes men better men. If you took women out of the equation, it would still be true. But when women are in the equation, then you don't need tips. You don't need tips. You're in great shape. You got a 6-pack. You're worth $10 million. You look smart, you look sharp, you've showered that morning, you've read a lot of books, a lot of literature, you've listened to a lot of audiobooks, watched a lot of documentaries, you've got interesting things to say, all the things that builds a great man.
But these are tips. And this isn't taught in schools, so these are tips.
Well, the tip is, if you need tips, then you're not living life right. No?
Yes, but every winner was once a beginner.
Yes.
In the sense that there's many people who don't know this yet, and you do, and they're willing and they want to learn.
So if you want women, I can't teach you, but I can teach you how to be the type of man that women want. And when
Is
you
that
get
not
to
the same thing?
Well, maybe it is.
It's just, it is the same thing.
I
think what you're saying is no gimmicky tips. What you're saying is, because I think to get rich, it's not just about learning secret tips to get rich. You have to become wealth.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
You know, when you become what you want to be, you get it.
Yes.
You know, I believe you don't get what you want, you get what you are.
That's a very good way of putting it, yeah.
And so I think what you're saying is become the man the woman wants.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying, you know, can game them.
How can I, in my current circumstances? So I play PlayStation all day. I live at my mother's house. I'm 35. I'm the same Tristan Tate. I've never worked out though. I'm really skinny. I got no muscles. Maybe a beer belly. I eat bad food. You know, I haven't got any nice clothes. How does that guy get women? He is me. What tips do I give him? There are no tips.
There are. But I become this version of you. That
exactly.
is tips.
Yeah, I guess it is. I guess it is. But
are you just a bit worried about coming across like those who give tips?
Well, yeah, absolutely, because I don't like to give dating advice in that way. Thank you very much. I don't like to give dating advice in that way because I'm like, if women don't want you, I can't teach you anything because I've got it on easy mode because I've done all the hard work. I've done all the hard work of getting rich, staying in shape, learning things, becoming articulate, knowing how to speak, developing a sense of humor, all the things, having a fun lifestyle, all the hard things I've done mean I now play the women game on easy mode. If I had Instagram, which I don't, if I activated...
Is that because you got cancelled or you don't want it?
I got cancelled now, I won't make a new page.
No.
There are a bunch of fan accounts of me, but I don't have Instagram. If I did, I'd just sit and look at the inbox and 40, 50 women would write me every single day and I could take my pick. Now, those aren't the type of women you want to marry, but like I said earlier, I mean, they're good for what they're good for, and I could go and find a wife. I could go to the library, approach the beautiful girl, talk to her a little bit, and she'd be on my arm. So I've done all the hard work, so now I'm in easy mode. So if you haven't done any of the hard work, I can't tell you how I get women, because I just do. I just do, and they just don't.
But you did. Having this conversation, you did. You said, work on your sense of humor, work on articulation, work on your intellect, work on your body. Yeah, so you did.
Well, yeah, I did. Yeah. I did, but those aren't the tips that people want. When a fat out of shape...
But you don't teach what people want, do you? You teach what they need
to hear. So when a fat out of shape dude who lives with his mum and plays video games says, hey Tristan, give me some tips on how to get women. He's not expecting me to say, change your entire lifestyle, work hard for 7 years and then the women will come easy. He doesn't want that. What he wants is a magic spell. Something you could say to them to trick them, brainwash them, make them fall in love with you. It doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Women are their own people and they like what they like. And men like what they like. And if I were to say to a really, really obnoxious, rude, low quality, unattractive, overweight woman, if she was to ask a supermodel, I'm not a supermodel, I'm not comparing myself in that way, but in terms of male value, with everything I've done, maybe I'm up there. If you would ask a supermodel, hey, how do you get guys? Well, just flutter your eyelashes. There's no magic trick. She looks like a pig, she looks like a Barbie. One of them's gonna get the guy's attention and one of them isn't. And it's the same with men. But men don't see it that way because there's not such a glaringly obvious difference in what's attractive and what's not. You know, I can look very similar to a dude who's not attractive to women. Does that make sense? But I'm attractive to women because when I open my mouth and speak, they like what I say. When I'm doing things, they like how I live. But I don't need to be that physically different from the guy who can't get women. So it's less obvious for men.
And let's flip it on the other side. What would you don't like to give tips, so these aren't tips, but what would you say to the tips that aren't tips to women to get a good man?
Different men have different... We have to define two different terms before we start. What is a good man? And two, what does get mean? So, of course, I think of a good man and get as handsome, smart, charming, will take care of you, will provide for you, not necessarily rich, but will provide for you, and get as in long-term relationship with the prospect of trying to get married. So let's define it that way first, because the question could be answered in lots of different ways. One, do not be the type of girl who sleeps around. I don't care what modern society tells you, no man wants to marry the girl with a high body count. Sure, girls with high body counts get lots of attention, but they don't really get attention from the men who they want to end up marrying. And also, they might get attention from the type of men that they want to end up marrying, but they get that attention for a weekend and that's it. Don't have a high body count, do not sleep around. Enter every single relationship with the goal that, yes, I think this man would make a good husband, and I'm only going to be with him with the goal of marrying him. Now, it might not work out. You might have 2 or 3 failed relationships. That's life. That's what happens. No one really cares. But yeah, don't sleep around, don't eat too much, and be nice and pleasant and bring him a good energy. I think it's as simple as that for women.
So when you say...
but sorry, I'll redefine the question.
Please.
If you think getting a man means getting him to buy you stuff, and a good man as in a stupid man who will buy you lots of presents, see, these are 2 different questions. Then by all means, flaunt yourself on the internet, sleep with every dude who buys you a handbag, enjoy your handbag collection, that's cool, but just don't ask where all the good men are when it's time to get married. And I don't judge anyone for any of this stuff. As I said, I'm sick of these red pill podcasts, sitting down these women who are promiscuous and perhaps low quality in my eyes or your eyes or a lot of men's standards, saying, you're not wives and you do this and that's bad and that's it. The wives won't go sit on the podcasts. There are wives out there and those women are useful. You think I've never rented a yacht and filled it with a bunch of women that I wanted to sleep with? None of them were wives. Love you girls. But
there might have been someone else's wife.
Had a great time. But do you get my point? Like, don't try to change people and don't judge people and don't be so hate-filled towards women who aren't living the way that you would want them to live if you were going to marry them. They're not going to marry you and you're not going to marry them. Leave them alone. Let them go and do it. Yeah.
Coffee good?
Very good.
Good.
Full of energy.
So what's a high body count then for a woman?
I actually mathematically wrote this on Twitter once as a joke. As a joke, I wrote down that an acceptable body count is 1 for every 2 years she ages past the age of 18. That's what I wrote on Twitter because I thought about it. I typed it down. Is that true? No. Are there?
So by the time she's 30, she's only allowed to have had, 6 partners?
If you get to 30 and a woman says she has 6 partners, that's not high.
No.
It's not low, but that's not high. You wouldn't say this girl's a hoe. This girl's a slut. This girl's all the horrible names that, not me, all the horrible names that like red pill influencers and stuff use towards women. You wouldn't say a 30-year-old woman who's had sex with 6 men. You know, 2 years per, she's had a few failed relationships.
She might have really tried hard, fell in love, and the man binned her off, and she might have only ever had 1 partner.
I will, I guess, unapologetically say that there are some great women out there who tried to be with me. I was not in that place at the time, too busy building my business. I did sleep with them, whatever, wasn't interested. And they're great girls, and they'll make someone a great wife one day. And they were, I guess, trying to be serious about me, but I wasn't that serious. And that doesn't make her bad.
No, they can't help that.
Yeah, exactly. She's not the bad person for sleeping with me. No. So, yeah, I wrote that down on Twitter, on X, as a joke, but it's kind of good math. The math kind of adds up. Whereas if she's 20 and she says 6, you'll be like, ooh, when did you, what? So at maybe 18, you started 6 in 2 years? That's quite quick.
But three in a year, is that a lot?
I don't know. And there are no rules to this. There really are no rules to this. And there are no...
Society's a bit different, isn't it?
Well, society's different, and also I don't try to police people's behavior. So what I say is an acceptable body count, I expect everybody here who's watching, who maybe doesn't agree with me, to raise their middle finger to the screen and say, F this guy. Who is he to judge what my body count is and isn't? And I completely agree, but if I get married, she's gonna have a body count under 2 or 3.
All right,
so that's just my own personal preference, and I'm allowed to have my preference too.
You are.
So,
okay, so okay, so you find someone, her body count's 3.
Yep.
She's the right age for you.
Yeah.
You fall in love with her.
Yeah.
Everything is there, and then you find out it was 12. What happens? But you're in love with her.
Yeah, I wouldn't marry her, but not.
No, but you already had. And then you found out, yeah.
I'd already
fallen in love with her, you married her, everything's there, and then someone told you, no, her body count's not 3.
It's 12.
It's 12 or it's 15, and the only reason she lied to you is because she loved you. And she knew, because of this podcast, that you would never have got with her if she'd have told the truth.
Interesting. You know, I've had girls like that. I've had girls who pretended to be good girls, but the thing is with me is, like with if a man's drank coffee from 1,000 different places, he knows what good coffee is and bad coffee is. I really can't be lied to as easily as most people. I kind of know. I have a feel for it early on. I can just kind of tell. And it's not that hard to find out about people, especially when they're from the same town or city as you. It's really not hard. So I have a very good feel for it. So I like to think that would be very hard to do, because every time it's happened to me, I start dating a girl, she tells me a story about her past, blah, blah, blah. I notice things don't add up very quickly, and I'm just like, well, why would you bullshit me? And what I always do in those circumstances, and I guess I'd do the same if I was married, is stop talking to them. Because it's not about the actual body count. It's about the dishonesty of pretending to be someone that you're not. I had a girl recently, I'll say she's Polish, she doesn't matter. But anyway, she comes and meets me, we go out, have dinner and stuff, and blah, blah, blah. She comes back to Romania to meet me again for the second time, and I found out she's an OnlyFans model who I wouldn't care, naked pictures, look, it's page 3, don't care. But it was like full on having sex with people OnlyFans. And I was just like, well, why didn't you tell me that? Like, I'm not that mad, because hanging out with you and sleeping with you sometimes is like, fine. I was never gonna marry you, but the fact that you tried to sell yourself off as a different product. No, I'm not fun material, I'm wife material. The fact that you tried to do that, I'm just like, well, I don't really wanna see you anymore. It instantly put me off. Does that make sense? So yeah, I'd have to stop talking to them. It's the dishonesty I can't take. Same with friends. If I met a friend and if I found out the background story of any of my guys, the people here, if I found out they glaringly, obviously lied about something, I'd be like, well, why did you lie? I don't get what you were trying to do. Your intentions when you met me obviously were dishonest. If you met me and you were hanging out with me, and next week it turns out that me and Andrew have never had any money, our dad's not dead, and he's an oil billionaire, you'd immediately think, well, f those two. Because they've sold me an image of themselves and have tried to come across as genuinely these people when they weren't. And that's it. So I'd have to cut her off. Yeah, I'd divorce her.
Yeah, wow.
My dad is not an oil billionaire, and he is dead, and I did make all my own money. So just FYI, but it's an example.
So I don't really normally talk about these things on my podcast, because I'm more interested in business and money.
Understood.
So that's why I'm going to carry on talking about it.
Let's do it.
Because this is fun and different.
Why not?
So just let me throw you another hypothetical situation. You've got a smart, sassy, challenging, intellectual, hot woman. And because she has a body count of 20, she's got an amazing amount of life experience that maybe someone with a body count of 2 or 3 wouldn't have had. She really knows how to please a man, and she can do shit in bed but someone with a body count of 2 or 3 just can't do.
I know lots of women like that.
Okay, but you're still not marrying that person.
No, I'll call them on Friday nights. That's and the thing is, I'm not speaking as myself today. I'm not speaking as myself, because I'm not such a womanizer anymore. I'm taking the old mindset I used to have and applying, because I know the example. 5 names come to mind when you name that person.
I mean, that's a
10.
very compelling woman, isn't it?
So all I do is think into the past and what did I do at that time? I just hung out with them sometimes. It was fun. That's it. Use protection. No one gets hurt. No big deal. Well, I didn't know what the issue was, but I didn't understand what the issue was. If anyone had an issue with it, it's mine and her private life, and everyone gets off. But yeah, I can think of people like that. And my answer is just no, I never thought of marrying them. They were fun to have around, and that's exactly what I did.